At 6:03 in the morning, something slammed against my bedroom door so hard the frame rattled. "Myra," my father-in-law shouted, "open this door right now." I sat up too fast, my head spinning, my hand going instinctively to the empty side of the bed where Daniel should have been. But my husband was 3 states away on a work trip, and the only man in my house was his father, Victor Hale. Before I could answer, the door flew open. Victor stood there fully dressed, belt buckled, shoes on, gray hair combed back like he was about to inspect a squad room instead of invade my bedroom. "It's 6 a.m. and you're still asleep," he barked. "Get up and make me coffee." I stared at him, still half tangled in the blanket. "Victor, this is my bedroom." His mouth tightened. "And this is Daniel's house too," he snapped. "A wife gets up before the men do." That was when something in me shifted. Not loudly, not bravely, just enough for me to say, "You're a guest here. The coffee maker is downstairs." Victor stepped closer. For 2 weeks, I had tried to be patient because Daniel said his father was embarrassed, because Victor claimed he needed a place to stay, because everyone in that family treated him like a man you didn't question. But standing in my doorway, ordering me out of bed like hired help, he didn't look embarrassed. He looked entitled. "You're lazy," he said. "Spoiled. Daniel should have married a woman raised properly, not someone who sleeps while elders sit without coffee." My fingers found my phone on the nightstand. "I'm calling Daniel." Victor's hand moved before I could unlock it. He slapped the phone out of my grip, and it skidded across the floor. I stood, "Get out." His fist hit my face. For a second, the room went completely quiet. I heard my own breath. I felt warmth under my nose. Victor looked at the blood, then at me, and his expression changed, not to fear, not regret. Calculation. "No one's going to believe you," he said. "Daniel already knows you've been unstable lately." I walked past him without screaming, locked myself in the laundry room, and opened the home security app with shaking hands. The hallway camera had been turned away from my bedroom door. But the stair camera was still there. And as the footage loaded, one question burned through me. Had it caught what Victor did, or had he planned even that? Victor's fist hit the laundry room door 3 times. "Mara," he said, suddenly softer, "open the door before you make this worse." I didn't answer. I stood between the washing machine and the dryer, one hand pressed under my nose, the other holding my phone so tightly my knuckles looked white. The security app opened. The hallway camera showed nothing useful, just the wall. Someone had twisted it away from my bedroom door. But the stair camera loaded next. There was Victor crossing the upstairs hall. There was his voice. "It's 6 a.m. and you're still asleep." Then my voice, lower, shaken. "Victor, this is my bedroom." The camera didn't catch his fist. The angle stopped at the doorway. But it caught the sound. A sharp crack. Then me stumbling out of the room, with my hand over my face. I swallowed hard and saved the clip to a private cloud folder before Victor could touch my phone again. Then Daniel called. His name flashed on the screen, and for 1 second I thought, thank God. I answered. Daniel didn't say, "Are you okay?" He said, "What happened between you and Dad?" I closed my eyes. Behind the laundry room door, Victor said loudly enough to be heard, "Tell her to calm down, Daniel." My voice came out flat. "Your father came into our bedroom and hit me." Daniel exhaled. "He said you swung at him when he asked for coffee. He said he pushed you away." "He punched me." "He's been under pressure, Mara. He's embarrassed. He lost money and he's not himself." I went still. "Lost money?" I asked. "You told me his landlord sold the apartment." Daniel didn't answer quickly enough. My eyes moved to the desk outside the laundry room, where Daniel's laptop sat open from the night before. I stepped out while Victor watched me. "What are you doing?" Victor asked. I opened the laptop. On the screen was a draft email to a real estate agent. Subject line, "Possible sale of our house." I walked into the kitchen with one cheek swelling and the taste of blood still in my mouth. Victor was sitting at the table, drinking coffee. Coffee he had made himself. He didn't look at me right away. He lifted the mug, took a slow sip, and said, "See, wasn't difficult." I was about to ask him why Daniel had a draft email about selling our house when the doorbell rang. Then it rang again. Before I reached the hallway, Victor called out, "Come in, it's open." Daniel's sister stepped inside first. Behind her came Aunt Linda and two cousins, all wearing the stiff expressions of people who had already heard one version of a story. My stomach dropped. "What is this?" I asked. Victor set his mug down and rubbed his wrist like it hurt. "A family check-in, since things have gotten concerning." Linda looked at my face, then at Victor. "Mara, sweetheart, what happened?" Victor sighed before I could speak. "She's been fragile since her tragedy. I asked for coffee and she snapped." I felt every eye land on me. Daniel's sister whispered, "Did you hit him?" I laughed once, not because it was funny, but because my own kitchen had turned into a courtroom, and I was the only person without a jury. "He came into my bedroom," I said. "He screamed at me to make coffee, then he hit me." Victor shook his head. "This is exactly what I mean. She shouldn't be handling bills, accounts, or property decisions in this state." "Property decisions?" I asked. He leaned back. "Daniel has been thinking about selling, reducing pressure, moving closer to family support." The room tilted. Daniel hadn't just hidden his doubt from me. He had discussed selling our home with the man who punched me in it. I looked at Victor. "Then, why was the hallway camera turned away before you came into my room?" For half a second, his face changed. Then Linda said, "Mara, apologize before this gets uglier." "No," I said. "I'm filing a report." Victor stood, leaned close, and whispered, "File anything you want. By tonight, this won't be your house to throw me out of." At urgent care, the nurse looked at my cheek, then at the bruise forming under my eye, and her pen stopped moving. "Who did this?" she asked. "My father-in-law," I said. She didn't ask me whether I was sure. She didn't ask what I had done first. She wrote it down. "Bruising consistent with blunt force trauma." Those words became the first thing Victor couldn't talk over. While I waited for the discharge papers, Daniel kept calling. I ignored every call until my phone buzzed with a text. "Mara, please answer. Dad says you're trying to ruin him." I typed back one sentence. "Come home. Bring every document your father asked you to sign." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. "He said you were hiding money," Daniel wrote. "He said you wouldn't help the family unless I took control." I stared at the screen. Suddenly, every little thing connected. Victor checking grocery receipts. Victor asking where we kept the mortgage papers. Victor saying Daniel should be head of the house on paper. This had never been about coffee. When I got home, Victor's car was gone, but the shared office door was cracked open. On Daniel's desk was a folder I had never seen before. Inside were printed mortgage statements, a copied version of Daniel's signature, and a card from a hard money lender. Underneath it all was a sticky note, with a payoff amount so large my fingers went cold. I turned on my phone's voice recorder before anyone came back. Daniel arrived first, pale and breathless. Then Victor walked in behind him, already talking. "She's staging all of this," Victor said. "Sign the sale authorization before she locks you out financially." I placed the folder on the table. "Daniel," I said, "why does your father have copies of our mortgage documents?" Daniel froze. Victor lunged for the folder. I stepped back just as my phone caught his voice. "You stupid girl," he snapped. "You should have just made the coffee and let grown men fix this." Then the doorbell rang. On the security screen, 2 officers stood on my porch. The officers didn't knock twice. I opened the door before Victor could move, and one of them looked from my bruised face to Daniel, standing beside the table. "Mrs. Ellis," he asked. "Yes." "We're here about the report you filed." Victor's voice changed immediately. "Officers, this is a family disagreement. My daughter-in-law is emotional. She's been through a lot." I didn't answer him. I picked up my phone and pressed play. First came the stair camera footage. Victor's voice tearing through the hallway at 6 a.m. "It's 6 a.m. and you're still asleep. Get up and make me coffee." Then my voice. Then the crack of his fist landing. Daniel flinched like he felt it himself. I showed the officers the photo of the hallway camera turned toward the wall. Then the urgent care report. Then the folder Victor had left in the office. Our mortgage statements, the copied signature, the lender's card, the payoff number. Finally, I played the recording from 3 minutes earlier. "You should have just made the coffee and let grown men fix this." Victor reached for Daniel's arm. Tell them this is family business." Daniel looked at my face, then at the papers spread across our kitchen table. His mouth opened, but no defense came out. At last, he said quietly, "You hit my wife in her own bedroom." Victor's expression hardened. "After everything I did for you." "No," Daniel said, "after everything you tried to take from us." That was when the truth fully came out. Victor had not been staying with us because his landlord sold his apartment. He had lost a large amount of money in a private investment scheme and was being pressured to repay it fast. He knew Daniel trusted him. He knew I handled our books, and he knew I would question any sudden sale of our house. So he tried to remove me from the decision. The coffee attack was never just about coffee. He wanted me provoked, shaken, humiliated, and labeled unstable before Daniel came home. If he could make the family believe I was violent and emotional, he could convince Daniel that I was unfit to manage finances or property decisions. But Victor had made one mistake. He prepared for the hallway camera. He forgot the stair camera. The officers escorted him out that morning. He left without his bag, without his keys, and without anyone rushing to defend him. By evening, Daniel had sent the footage to every relative who had stood in my kitchen. Aunt Linda tried once to excuse it as stress. Then I sent the medical report and the recording. She never brought it up again. Daniel canceled the real estate conversation. I froze shared financial access, changed every password, and met with an attorney to protect the house. Victor faced an assault complaint and questions about the copied documents and signature practice. His proud reputation became the thing people whispered about. Daniel and I did not magically become fine. I told him the marriage would only continue with counseling, full financial transparency, and no private decisions with his father. He nodded, ashamed, and said, "You set the rules." Weeks later, I woke up at 6 a.m. to a quiet house. No pounding, no shouting, no man in my doorway demanding coffee. I made 1 cup for myself and sat by the kitchen window. Daniel came in slowly. "Can I sit with you?" I nodded. He placed a receipt on the table for a new security system, paid from his own account. I looked around the kitchen, at the locked door, the silent hallway, the morning light touching the floor. For the first time in weeks, my house felt like mine again. The morning Victor Hale demanded coffee was the morning he lost the right to ever step inside my house again.